Good afternoon and welcome to the Public Service Commission of South Carolina. We are here for our regularly scheduled business meeting. It is Thursday, February 15th at 2:30 p.m. Let's take a roll call of commissioners. Attending virtually, we have Commissioner Irvin and Commissioner Caston. Present in the hearing room, we have Commissioners Justin Williams, Vice Chair Powers, Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Carol Lee Williams, and Chair Belser. Before we begin the agenda, I invite you to join me for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Scarborough.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Powers, and Commissioners. The first item of business is to set the next regularly scheduled business meeting. Staff recommends that the next commission business meeting be scheduled for Thursday, March 7th, 2024 at 2:00 p.m.
Our next regularly scheduled business meeting will be scheduled for March 7th, 2024 at 2 p.m.
Thank you. Today we have 12 items on the utilities agenda and 8 items on the transportation agenda. Item number 1 appears in docket number 2009-144C. This is a request from TracFone Wireless, SafeLink Wireless Incorporated, for confidential treatment of its South Carolina customer report for the fourth quarter of 2023.
Commissioners, we've heard utilities agenda item 1. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Urban, you're recognized.
Thank you. I move that the Commission grant the request of TracFone Wireless Incorporated for confidential treatment of its South Carolina customer report for the fourth quarter of 2023. So moved.
Thank you. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Irvin. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams?
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers?
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Caston?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Item number 2 appears in docket number 2024-49C. This is a request for approval of the interconnection agreement between PBT Telecom Incorporated and Level 3 Communications, LLC.
With regard to utilities agenda item 2, do I hear a motion?
Chair Belser, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams is recognized.
Thank you. I move that the Commission grant the request for approval of the interconnection agreement between PBT Telecom, Inc. and Level 3 Communications, LLC.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Carol Lee Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Carol Lee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 3 is in docket number 2023-154E. This item involves final disposition of this docket.
Commissioners, we've heard utilities agenda item 3 is identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas is recognized.
thank you. I move that the Commission approve the Santee Cooper 2023 IRP filed with the Commission on May 15th, 2023, and supplemented by the addendum dated October the 22nd, 2023, which includes the preferred portfolio supplemental, and find that Santee Cooper's IRP, as supplemented by the addendum, complies with the requirements of SC Code Annotated Section 583740. I further move that Santee Cooper review and address the 7 other recommendations of the ORS witnesses to take up in future stakeholder proceedings in preparation for the IRP updates and no later than the 2026 IRP. 2, Santee Cooper consider other approaches to load forecasting and resource portfolio analysis to plan for future industrial load growth due to economic development, and provide updates to the Commission in future IRP filings. 3, Santee Cooper incorporate actual solar additions and any updates to future planned solar additions in annual IRP updates. 4, Santee Cooper continue to evaluate the natural gas combined cycle shared resource in the analysis conducted for future IRP updates and IRPs. 5, Santee Cooper shall file its updates to the IRP in September of 2024 and 2025, and shall file its next triennial IRP no later than September 2026. 6, Santee Cooper shall continue in the stakeholder meetings to discuss and consider recommendations and concerns raised by interveners in this docket, and consider consideration of issues that may be material to future IRP updates and IRPs. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Thomas. Is there any discussion?
Chair Belzer,
Commissioner Carolee Williams?
I'd like to make an alternate motion at the
A
appropriate,
substitute motion?
a substitute motion at the appropriate time.
Well, go ahead.
Okay.
Now's as good a time as any.
And it's substantively very similar to Commissioner Thomas's motion, but it adds a little bit more detail. It draws from the consultant work that was done by PA consultants. It uses the first paragraph, so I'm not going to reread it. And it follows the same outline, but I will read items 1 through 6 as I propose them. Santee Cooper review and address the 7 other recommendations of the OR witnesses to take up in future stakeholder proceedings in preparation for IRP updates and no later than 2026 IRP. These include recommendations regarding commodity forecast, investigating higher penetrations of solar and wind resources, integration cost, and associated modeling methodologies, potential impacts associated with the proposed EPA Section 111 rule, studies related to cost savings from the retirement of remaining coal generation, developing a quantitative reliability metric, and discussing methodology to estimate transmission investment associated with the retirement of the cross unit. Number 2, Santee Cooper refined the accuracy in load forecasting assumptions to update resource portfolio analysis, as well as consider other approaches to load forecasting to plan for future commercial and industrial load growth due to economic development, and provide updates to stakeholders through the IRP update process and the Commission in future IRP filings. Number 3, Santee Cooper incorporate actual solar additions and any updates to future planned solar additions in its annual IRP updates. Santee Cooper should continue to pursue additional solar resources exceeding the targets set in the preferred portfolio where practical, with ongoing updates and discussions with stakeholders. Number 4, Santee Cooper continue to evaluate the natural gas combined cycle shared resource in the analysis conducted for future IRP updates and IRPs, while evaluating and identifying the most cost-effective and the least ratepayer risk portfolio. Number 5, Santee Cooper shall file its updates to this IRP in September of 2024 and 2025, and shall file its next triennial IRP no later than September of 2026. And that is the same as Commissioner Thomas's recommendation. And number 6 is actually the same as Commissioner Thomas's recommendation. So my proposed amendments are to 1 through 4 of his motion. And as I said, these really just give more details to the public, understanding that a full order is coming, but it also sheds a little bit more light on the work that PA Consultant advised us with regard to this IRP, but absolutely accepts this 2023 IRP. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we have a substitute motion on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas?
I'd just like to say I appreciate the work put in by Commissioner Carolee Williams, and I just believe that the details would be more appropriately included in the order as opposed to the motion. So I'll be sticking with my original motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion on the substitute motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, is commissioners, is somebody trying to say something? Okay. We'll vote on the substitute motion offered by Commissioner Carol Lee Williams, starting, and we'll have a roll call vote starting with Commissioner Carol Lee Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston,
With the deepest respect, no, I do support Commissioner Thomas's.
Commissioner Urban,
No. No.
Commissioner Urban, thank you. I got your vote. We're getting some feedback or some kind of talking. Not sure where that's coming from. Okay. Commissioner Thomas,
No.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Respectfully, no.
Vice Chair Powers.
No.
Chair votes aye. The motion fails. We will return to the original motion offered by Commissioner Thomas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Item number 4 is in docket number 2021-185E. This is a request for acceptance of filing of the Third Amendment to the Renewable Power Purchase Agreement between Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated and Eastover Solar LLC, along with a request for confidential treatment of certain portions of the agreement.
With regard to utilities agenda item 4, do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, I move that the commission accept for filing the Third Amendment to the Renewable Power Purchase Agreement between Dominion Energy South Carolina, Inc. and Eastover Solar LLC. I also move that the commission grant the request for confidential treatment of certain portions of the agreement due to the commercially sensitive and proprietary information contained therein. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Justin Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Justin Williams,
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Urban,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 5 is in docket number 83-307E, which is a request from Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated for confidential treatment of the trustees' annual report.
With regard to utilities agenda item 5, do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Madam Chair, I move that the commission grant the request to Dominion Energy South Carolina for confidential treatment of the 2023 transmission impact analysis. So moved.
I'm sorry, we're on item 5, and it has to do with Dominion's trustees' annual report.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
withdraw my motion.
Thank you. With regard to utilities agenda item 5, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Caston's recognized.
Excuse me. I move that the commission grant the request of Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated, confidential treatment of certain portions of the trustees' annual report. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Caston. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll begin with a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Item number 6 is in docket number 2023-9E. This is a motion from Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated for confidential treatment of its 2023 transmission impact analysis.
Madam Chair?
I was going to say, Commissioner Williams, you want to repeat your motion?
I do, Madam Chair. Thank you for the opportunity.
I know you were trying to hurry me along, but
Sometimes I can be quick draw McGraw. Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, I move that the commission grant the request of Dominion Energy South Carolina, Inc. for confidential treatment of the 2023 transmission impact analysis. So move.
thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Justin Williams.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Is that everybody? And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 7 appears in docket number 2024-35E. This is the joint application of Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC for approval to transfer certain intercompany assets and for related accounting treatment concerning the transfer.
With regard to utilities, agenda item 7, is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas is recognized.
I move that the commission approve the joint application of Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC for the authority to transfer intercompany assets and for the requested accounting treatment. I further move that the rights of ORS, any other party, interested person, or the commission shall not be prejudiced from addressing the prudency or appropriateness of these transfers or costs in any future proceedings of Duke Energy Carolinas LLC, Duke Energy Progress LLC, or both companies, such as in a subsequent general rate case or other proceeding. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 8 is in dockets number 2022-151WS, 2022-161W, 2022-166W, and 2022-167W. This is a request from CSWR South Carolina Utility Operating Company, LLC, for confidential treatment of certain portions of its customer report for the fourth quarter of 2023.
Commissioners, with regard to this agenda item for confidential treatment, is there a motion?
Chair Belser, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams is recognized.
Thank you. I move the commission grant the request of CSWR South Carolina Utility Operating Company, LLC, for confidential treatment of certain portions of the customer report for the fourth quarter 2023.
Thank you. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Carol Lee Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Item number 9 is in docket number 2008-140A, which is a request from Jacob Utilities, LLC, for a 30-day extension of time until May the 1st, 2024, to file the company's water and wastewater annual reports.
With regard to utilities, item 9, for an extension to file annual reports, is there a motion?
Chair Belser, I'd like to make a motion on this case.
Vice Chair Powers is recognized.
I move the commission grant the request of JCAB Utilities LLC for a 30-day extension of time until May 1st, 2024 for the filing of its 2023 water and wastewater annual reports.
Thank you, Vice Chair. We've heard the motion from Vice Chair Powers. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with the vice chair.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 10 is in docket number 2024-51E. This is a request for confidential treatment of the Renewable Energy Procurement and Service Agreement between Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and BMW Manufacturing Company LLC.
Is there a motion? Hasn't there been a request to carry this item over with the consent of
Yes, ma'am.
the utility?
Yes, ma'am.
Then we'll carry this item over.
Item number 11 is in docket number 2023-121E. This item involves the report required from the Commission by Act 46 on the electrification of the transportation sector in South Carolina for the Joint Committee on the Electrification of Transportation and the General Assembly.
With regard to Utilities Agenda Item 11, is there a motion?
Chair Belser, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
I move that the commission authorize the clerk to open a non-docket for the purpose of completing the reporting requirement pursuant to South Carolina Code annotated section 58-27-265.
Thank you. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Carolee Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 12 appears in docket number 2023-361E. This is a motion to dismiss the complaint filed by Mr. Clyde Kennedy against Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated.
With regard to Utilities Agenda Item 12, is there a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, I move that the commission grant Dominion Energy South Carolina Inc.'s motion to dismiss pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Regulation 103-342K. This motion to dismiss is granted without prejudice and with leave for the complainant to refile as necessary. Madam Commissioner, or Madam Chair, and my fellow commissioners, I'm standing on the company's motion to dismiss filed on January 5th, 2024, and also in the arguments made by the company during oral arguments, specifically with respect to the terms household member. So moved. I'm welcome to take any questions from my colleagues.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Williams. Is there any discussion?
Chair Belser,
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
I don't make a habit of offering substitute motions, but that's what I'd like to do at this time.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Thank you. I move that the commission deny the motion to dismiss filed by Dominion Energy South Carolina. The company moved to dismiss in part on the grounds that the complainant failed to state facts sufficient to constitute a cognizable claim for relief. Specifically, the company alleged the complainant alleged facts that fall within the parameters outlined in South Carolina Code Annotated Regs 103-342K. Subsection K states in the relevant part, no electrical utility shall be required to furnish its service or to continue its service to any applicant who at the time of such application is indebted or any member of his household is indebted under an undisputed bill to such electrical utility for service previously furnished such applicant or furnished by any member of other party, furnished any other member of the applicant's household. However, for purposes of this regulation, the electrical utility may not consider any indebtedness which was incurred by the applicant or any member of his household more than 6 years prior to the time of application. End of quote. My motion continues. The complaint alleged that the complainant's previous tenants or relatives owe the company a significant balance. The company's motion to dismiss stated that because the complainant identifies the previous tenants as relatives, that satisfies the first requirement of South Carolina Code Annotated Regs 103-342K, i.e., that an applicant or member of the applicant's household. Construing the complaint and the facts contained herein in the light most favorable to the non-moving party, here the complainant, there is at least one factual question for the commission to decide, that is whether the complaint's previous tenants, who happen to be relatives, constitute members of the complainant's household for purposes of South Carolina Code Annotated Regs 103-342K. As such, I move that the commission deny the motion to dismiss filed by Dominion Energy South Carolina, and that the matter proceed to hearing as scheduled on March 20th, 2024. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Williams, I was trying to follow your motion, and I thought that at one point you indicated that the complainants alleged that the former tenants, who may be relatives of the complainant, when I was listening, I felt like it should have been that the company alleged that the former tenants who are relatives of the complainant.
The company alleged that the complainant's previous tenants, no, it's the complaint alleged that the complainant's previous tenants or relatives, which was what was stated in the complaint, owe the company a significant balance.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Commissioners, we've heard the motion, the substitute motion offered by Commissioner Carol Lee Williams. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Powers?
Madam Chair, although I agree with a lot of things that Commissioner Carol Lee Williams has laid out, I found myself in a quandary that we just weren't given enough facts, and the only thing we could go on was complaint. I know when there's pro se that we really bent over backwards to help them. This person's represented by an attorney who has quite good reputation, and I think that the fact that Commissioner Justin Williams' motion says that this is done without prejudice means that the attorney can give us enough facts for us to make a decision, or at least hear the case. The complainant who filed it pro se just did not give us enough information. So I think the ball's in the court of the attorney that's representing in this case. I just think it accomplishes the same thing, because it's got, either the lawyer comes back with sufficient information or not. But there was just not enough, and which makes the point that the utility raised, that insufficient facts. And so I won't support this motion, but I will support the other one. Thank you.
Vice Chair Powers, can I clarify something? You indicated two things, that the applicant is represented by an attorney, but you also referenced that the applicant, the complainant, is a pro se. And just for the record, I'll clarify that the applicant started this case at pro se, and during the process hired an attorney. And I find that compelling as to why I'm making the motion that I'm making, and the fact that we've got a hearing scheduled that allows this to move forward and to be resolved as expeditiously as possible. But I respect what you said.
Well, I think both motions allow us to go forward with the hearing. But we just didn't, I just don't feel like we got enough legal facts to deny the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, if I may,
Commissioner Justin Williams?
I will offer for my colleagues' consideration, in addition to the motion, the written motion filed by the company, the motion to dismiss, an argument made by Attorney Abzelmo was pretty compelling to me when we were discussing the broadness of household member or how the company interprets household member. And if I remember correctly, what Attorney Anselmo spoke to us about is his position on the purpose of Rule K, and that is to prevent service manipulation, where you have, if you will, a revolving door where folks who live in the same house at some point in time have service in their name, don't pay the bill, and then service is put into someone else's name, and a bill continues to run up. And under his theory, if I understand correctly, Mr. Kennedy could have lived in this house at one point in time with others, could move, others still live in the house, relatives or not, and people could cycle through that home and run up utility bills without them ever being paid, whether they stay in the house at the same time or not. So I think the oral arguments inform my interpretation of household member, where it's a little bit broader than maybe I thought it was before oral argument. So, again, I just wanted to put that out there for my colleagues' consideration.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to support the substitute motion just from the standpoint that I don't think you can equate relative as being a household member of the household. And I granted there is a scarcity of facts, but I will be supporting the substitute motion. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Caston?
With all the discussion, it's kind of gotten confusing. I understand what Commissioner Justin Williams said. I have very similar concerns. The substitute motion was a challenge for me to follow at times, and I was kind of curious if there's a precedent for a substitute motion. If not, I will not make one.
I think the challenge is the chair being able to keep track of everything, but go ahead.
That's I was looking for something, I guess, more simple in the substitute motion, but I guess it is what it is. That said, I'll withdraw the
Commissioner Caston, I
Yes.
welcome the substitute motion. If that's
Well-
appropriate.
Commissioner Caston, do you have a substitute?
I was simply going to suggest that the commission deny the motion to dismiss filed by Dominion Energy. There remains an issue of fact that needs to be resolved when viewing the evidence in light of motion favorable to the non-moving party. The matter should proceed to a hearing before a hearing examiner on March 20th, 2024 as previously scheduled. I have concerns very similar to Commissioner Justin Williams, but I also recognize the concern expressed by you, Chair Belser, and Commissioner Shirley Williams.
Chair Belser?
Does that complete your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Commissioner Carolee Williams.
I will withdraw my motion for the simpler motion because it achieves what I was trying to achieve, but just explaining more of the background.
Okay. We have a second substitute motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
No.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
No.
Vice Chair Powers,
No.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. By a vote of 4-3, the motion carries.
Madam Chair, that
The
completes.
substitute motion carries. In just a second,
Yes,
Mr. Scarborough. And because the second substitute motion was approved, we don't need to go back to the main motion. Mr. Scarborough, I made a mistake with regard to utilities agenda item 10. There was a request to carry over and we will do that, but we do need, there was also, a request for confidential treatment, which was what is noticed on the agenda, and that's my fault that I skipped over that. And so we do need to address the motion or the request.
Chair Belser, may I address that?
Vice Chair Powers.
I would move that due to the commercial sensitivity and proprietary nature of certain portions of this agreement, I'd move that the commission find pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Regulation 103-804 S2 and South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-10 that the marked provision of the agreement are exempt from public disclosure.
Thank you, Vice Chair Powers. Commissioners, with regard to agenda item 10, we're only voting on a motion for confidential treatment, not on approval of the a service agreement at this point, and that was my mistake. I apologize. Any discussion on the motion for confidential treatment? We will hold a roll call vote, starting with Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Madam Chair, that completes the utilities agenda before the commission. In Part A of the transportation agenda, we have 2 requests for new Class C certificates and 1 request for a new Class E certificate. Item A1 appears in docket number 2024-32T, which is the application of Vermilion Cypress Non-Emergency Medical Transport LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A2 is in docket number 2024-47T, which is an application from Higher Standards Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A3 is in docket number 2024-46T. This is the application of Wrangler Limited Company for a Class E household goods certificate.
Could you read the carrier's name again on number 3? A3?
Yeah,
Island
sorry, thank you. It's Island Wrangler Limited Company. Thank you.
Commissioners, we've heard motor carrier agenda items A1 through A3. It's identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Chair Belser, I have a motion.
Vice Chair Powers.
I move that the commission approve the applications for Class C and Class C certificates in items numbers A1 through A3 as listed by Mr. Scarborough. So move.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Vice Chair Powers to approve these applications. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
In Part B of the transportation agenda, we have 3 requests for extensions of time. Item B1 is in docket number 2023-342T. This is a request from Purvis Services LLC for a 3-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
With regard to motor carrier item B1, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I thought we were going to take B1 through B3 together.
No, sir. We're taking them separately.
Okay, thank you. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion. I move the commission grant the requests for Purvis Services LLC for a 3-month extension of time until April 29, 2024 to comply with commission rules and regulations. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Irvin. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries.
Item B2 appears in docket number 2023-31T. This is a request from Jesse's Heart NEMT LLC for an additional 12-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
With regard to motor carrier agenda item B2, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Caston. I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Caston is recognized.
I move that the commission deny the request of Jesse's Hart, NEMT LLC, for an extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Jesse's Hart, NEMT LLC's application for Class C non-emergency certificate was granted by Commission Directive Order 2023-93, issued on February 9th, 2023. The extension requested by the company would exceed the 12-month limit imposed by the Commission for motor carriers to come into compliance. The company is not precluded from submitting a new application for a Class C certificate. They are ready to comply with Commission rules and regulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Caston. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Item B3 is in docket number 2023-359T. This is a request from Wanda and Roger Transportation, LLC, for an extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Commissioners, we've heard agenda item 3 on the motor carrier agenda, B3 on the motor carrier agenda identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas is recognized.
I move that the commission grant the request of Wanda and Roger Transportation, LLC, for an extension of time until November the 8th, 2024, to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Thomas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries.
In Part C of the transportation agenda, we have one request to cancel a certificate. Item C1 is in docket number 2021-270T. This is a request from MyrtleBeachShuttleService.com, LLC, to cancel Class C Charter Certificate number 9627.
With regard to motor carrier agenda item C1, is there a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, I move that the commission grant the request of MyrtleBeachShuttleService.com, LLC, to cancel their Class C Charter Certificate number 9627. So moved.
thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion of Commissioner Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Justin Williams,
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
In Part D of the transportation agenda, we have one request to amend a certificate. Item D1 appears in docket number 2014-40T. This is a request from Atlantic Limo, LLC, to amend Charter Certificate number 8851 to read 15 passengers.
With regard to motor carrier agenda item D1, is there a motion?
Chair Belser, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams is recognized.
Thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of Atlantic Limo LLC to amend its Class C Charter Certificate number 8851 to read 15 passengers.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Carol Lee Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, this concludes all business noticed before the Commission today.
Thank you, Mr. Scarborough. As noted earlier, our next regularly scheduled business meeting will be Thursday, March 7th, 2024 at 2 p.m. Thank you very much, and we are adjourned.